Starting the game, multiplayer. So, multiplayer will start on this screen because we go to create lobby. So, by default, anyone on your friends list can join your game. If you want to make a private lobby, you just have to put a password in. And then at that case, when they try and join your game, they don't have the password, they can't get in. Now, if you have a friends only lobby, it will not show up here. So, if for some reason you want to do a public lobby, you just uncheck this. But we want my friends to be able to join, and I don't really care about setting a password. So, but do keep in mind when actions happen in the game, it's going to be using your game credits. If they have game credits, it won't use theirs, or if they have none at all, it won't use it. It'll use the host game credits. But we'll go to friends only lobby. So any of my friends can join. And I'm just going to pick a campaign. We'll do Banner Lords because I like Banner Lords. And I like that I already have these little stickers set up here. And when you get into the game, you'd be like, okay, well, let me invite my friends, and we'll invite Kvinity. So we invite them. They'll join the game, and it'll pop up down here if you have player notifications on, saying Kvinity joined the game. Well, then you go to the players menu, and kind of like how you assign a character to a player. Before, because this content generate menu, you have to have permission to use. So if they try and make their character and they submit it and they don't have permission, it's not going to work, and it's going to tell them they can't. So we'll go to, for example, we'll go to Briscoli here. So by default, you probably see something like this. Now, this basic one's kind of redundant because they always have basic permissions, but going for there, chat edit, that permission gives, things for editing messages, deleting, resending, purging. That's what chat edit lets them do. Advanced edit, that goes for pretty much everything. Essentially generating content, removing things, changing, a field in an item or an object or anything. It covers pretty much everything. And admin edits for very few select things. Generally, the things that are meant for hosts only, they don't even have access to, so I don't really think there's much that it actually does at this point. Kind of the main two you'd be looking at is the chat edit and advanced edit. But to give them access to the content generate menu, you will do the advanced edit. Usually I just throw them all on my friends because I trust my friends. But if you're playing with randoms, no, you shouldn't do that. If you're playing with randoms, maybe just leave them on basic and then you make it their character for them. But go in here. And the reason why that is because, generating a character, doing actions, it all costs credits. And also, this menu is where you need to kick someone or ban someone from your game. You can do that. But essentially, they'll join the game and they'll show up in connected players here, but you'll go to all players, you'll click on them, and you'll give them their permissions. And then you and them go to the generate menu, and I've already shown this, I'm not going to go through it again. You'll generate your characters. Generate, make sure in parties on, and they'll show up in the parties. If they don't show up in the party, just go to the character page and click add the party. Or if you assign them to that character and they make an action, it'll automatically add them to the party. But after the characters are made, you'll go to players, assign character, you'll click on them, and you can click on them in either all players or connected players. Assign the character, and you assign them a character. They are now that character, and the game will take that in mind. Now, if a character, let's say, I got them in my, let's say this character's in the party, my buddy plays him, my buddy Briscoli plays him, this is going to be unchecked because he's playing him. Now, if he's assigned to a player, if this is unchecked, even if that player is offline, it's still going to think he's playing. If he is assigned to a player, all you have to do is check is NPC. And what that tells the AI is, hey, this guy is a player character. However, since he is marked as is NPC, he must be not on. So it's going to treat him like an NPC. It's going to do its own actions and dialogue. The AI is discouraged from doing actions and dialogues for player characters unless the player tells them to do that for them. And we'll go over that bit in the essential things to know. But setting up multiplayer isn't much different from setting up a solo campaign. Currently, the max limit players I've put in is 8. I'm probably just going to uncap that because I don't think it matters so much. This isn't a very connection heavy game. However, I generally wouldn't suggest more than 3, maybe 4 players. So the way you want to play, it's up to you. However, what I suggest doing for rules as of taking turns, uh, this is what my games go by. Rule number 1 is when you're out of combat, you get 2 actions. An action is a message in here. So, I do a Blackfoot and punch Sir Kalen. That is an action. So out of combat, you can do 2 actions. Now, if you do your first action and then you enter combat, this is where rule 2 comes in the form. So rule 2 is if you're in combat, you get 1 action. So what that means is because my first action was out of combat, going into combat, it's kind of either or. If I started combat by punching, then you could disable that. If I start combat by punching, then I could count that as, okay, that was kind of my combat action. But if I just got in an argument and then the guy attacked me, then I would take my second action being the first action in combat. Rule 2 is you can get 1 action in combat, and then it goes to the next player and it roundabouts. It would be the same as rule 1, except it's only 1 action. And then rule 3 is at any point in time, you can ask the other players in the game, hey, can I do an action real quick? Or hey, can I take another action? And if they agree, then you take another action. I find this kind of structure helps keep it, keeps it running smoothly and allows everyone to get their input in. Now, if you do have a lot of players, probably what you'll want to do, let's say I have 5 players, I would probably go to the AI settings here and turn up the recent message count to, if I have 5 players, maybe 60. If you have more than that, you might want to up that. The reason being is the way this works is that what the AI sees is these AI messages and these player messages, and there's also a hidden message that tells it more information about what it did the previous action. So that's for 1 action, you may have 3 messages. So in reality, this is really the last 10 inputs and what's happened since then. Maybe 15, depends. And so if each player is taking 2 actions, their character might be completely out of the recent messages by the time it's their turn again, and it might cause issues where their character is doing something they didn't tell their character to. So in the case of having a lot of players, you might want to increase this. Other than that, that's how you play multiplayer.